Welcome back to Mondaiji on Metanorn / YouTube. This is episode 9. It's pretty fun. So I'm gonna do what I did in my last Kotaro episode and just quickly go over the summary of the episode and followed by some, I guess, key points from the episode that I enjoyed. So this episode is basically day 2 of the tournament, the fire festival getting kind of interrupted by these new bad guys from, I don't think they said the community group, did they? But I just call them the Piper Gang, whatever. It's like day 2 of them fighting. They get halfway, I guess they're still like, kind of fighting. They had, I guess Kurosagi stepped up and she interrupted them. So we had them kind of meet at a table and they kind of discussed on the little game they're playing to fix it. Followed by Asuka getting something new. I'll go into that later. And Isayo, I keep messing his name up. He shows off his, I guess, brain smarts. Followed by a bunch of, I guess, agreements going down that changes like the final game. And almost they figured everything out too, I think. So, and that was kind of the summary of the episode. Now to go into the details, like I said in the beginning, we had round 2 versus, so we had No Names versus the Piper Gang. Round 2, so they're fighting still, and Kurosagi is kind of like off in the distance with this weird lightning stick thing. I've seen that before in another show, I just can't remember. I've seen the shape, that kind of form before. So if anyone knows what that has been seen in other anime, let me know, because I remember it somewhere, I just can't picture it. But yeah, she does this, I guess, as a judge, she can have these executive orders and she can execute them, where she's like commands everyone to stop to reconvene so they can, I guess, negotiate on a new strategy for this game. And I thought it was kind of funny, you know, we had Kurosagi, we know her ears are kind of special, and they kind of show you more of this episode where they had the plague volley. I don't have her name's on my mind, but I just call it the plague volley. The plague girl kind of says something like the rules of the game, you know, they work. We're not doing anything illegal here. And Kurosagi's kind of like, I guess, judge here. She takes what she said and kind of uses her ears to contact, I guess, the main headquarters, I think you would say, and to tell if the plague girl is telling a lie or not. I guess she wasn't telling a lie. And this is obviously a thing for not so much the fighting characters to debate on, but it's more Jin. It's like his time to shine, with Isayo kind of pushing him. Which the game goes from, they're going to extend it for a whole month. I guess there's a plague going around that in that time would kill a bunch of people. And the No Names are like, well, that's not really fair. So it goes from being a month down to like 3 weeks, down to 5 days, ultimately at the end, it becomes 5 days. With a little added twist in there, Isayo is kind of like, well, can we have Kurosagi participate in the game because you kind of took out our best player, should be Shirayasha being trapped in the bubble. Or I think it was more because Asuka was missing. They didn't find Asuka, so I guess it was like, well, you guys have 3 good fighters, so it's only fair that you let us have Kurosagi join the team. And she agrees with that. And I think they said something about if they lose, they have to join the Piper Gang. It may have been misread, but I thought it was something along those lines where they would join them, or their community would absorb the No Names and just continue going on. So yeah, I mentioned there's a plague going around on that, and the fact that Asuka's missing their team, but we see her later on, which is the second topic I was talking about, a power up for Asuka. I guess not really a main thing, but it did happen, so it was cool. I had to mention it. She's kind of like laying in this cave, kind of like wakes up and there's lights, all these little glowing lights around her. She has a fairy with her, and they start speaking to her like about, you know, they see, I guess, potential in her power. So they're like, hey, look, brand new robot. But I think in this universe it would probably be considered a golem, or I don't think it's an actual robot, but who knows, maybe it might be. It could be a clockwork item for all I know. But this isn't really fantasy, there are elements of like sci-fi thrown in. So, kinda cool seeing that. The thing that we saw in the opening kinda spoiled it for us, so. Was I surprised? Not really. Were you surprised? I mean, after all, like I said, the opening does reveal the fact that she controls it later on. So. On a side note, for me, openings have always been, especially like in a fighting show, kind of shows you everything that's about to happen. Shonen shows do this all the time. You see certain characters pop up, they fight, and later on in the episode or the series, you see that character pop up, and it's kind of ruins it. Another unmentionable anime, Fairy Tail, does it all the time with their openings. So, anyway, that's just something for a different time. And the third topic is around Uzaya. He gets to show off his brain power. And I guess he figures out the storyline for the Piper story. He figures out something to do with the stained windows and the stained glass windows in the city. I guess he pieces the puzzles together, which is shatter the false, false things there. So he's like, okay, well, shatter. What else would we shatter in the city? Well, there you go. He figures out the glass windows are what we want to destroy. So they rally up all the local people, and they're all doing all that, smashing the windows. But during all of that, before they get to like 2 or 3 windows, the Plague Volley girl changes the environment, so it alters the playing ground, I guess you could say, to the town from the Piper story. Which, of course, since these characters that are fighting the no-names are from that city, in the legend, it boosts their power, kind of giving them like a buff or an advantage over the no-names. And let's face it, Isekai doesn't really need. He probably would prefer these people to be at their best. The type of shonen thing where they've done Dragon Ball Z where it's like he had Vegeta fighting Goku in the Majin Buu arc. He didn't want to fight Goku as regular. He wanted Goku to be Super Saiyan, full on everything. But if you've seen that, you know how that goes. But anyway, for me, I think Isekai just wants that extra challenge thrown in there. He probably wouldn't care. He could probably kill us if they had 100% more power than they do now. For him, it's more of a challenge. So maybe Isekai versus the Weaver guy. I don't know how you say that. So he fights him. They're setting that battle up, followed by Sandra, Fire Dragon Girl, and Kurosagi fighting the Plague Volley Girl. I know her name. I think I forgot her name. So, and at the end, we had Ratten. She was kind of using her flute to control people again to make them attack each other. And during that, you had Jin, the little fox girl, and Letitia, the vampire maid, ready to fight that character. But before Ratten gets serious, guess who shows up? Asuka with her giant robot / golem / whatever you want to call it. So that was pretty cool seeing that, like, cool moment with it. And Asuka used to be cool. I think I said this continued before that. I think the girls in this series still the spotlight more than the main guy for Isekai, which is fine. I mean, I like that. I mean, most shows would have Isekai kind of like fighting everyone while the girls kind of stand back watching or him protecting them. So it's nice. So for some like just one random note to make, they mentioned other stories like they said something about Snow White and Cinderella. So I'm wondering how many other stories we can explore in this universe for this series anyway. So like you got the Big Bad Wolf, 7 Dwarves. You can have all these different mini arcs I could see them doing possibly in the future. And why I say that is because next week is supposedly the final episode 10. And I checked the Anime News Network and they said they've listed 13, but I think my anime list also says 10, so you can take it what you want, but I'm still going out of limb saying 10's gonna be the final. Which sucks because I'm having fun with this series. I know it's popular right now, but I guess great things come to an end, as they say, right? So anyway, episode 10, which is, I assume, is the final wrap-up of the fights with the Pied Piper group. Which I could see them doing, like, the first 10 minutes is the finishing fights, and then the last 15 is probably like the after. You know, does the do the 3 people that we've been following this season with these characters, did they go home, return to their world, or did they stay there? For me, I can't really see Isekai wanting to go back to his boring world. Kasuke might want to go back because her family, probably misses her dad. If he's alive, you don't know that story. And Asuka, I don't know. I don't think she'd want to return back to her world. I think more than anything, she would just want to stay with everyone there. And I'm hoping 10 ends on like a cliffhanger where it's another legend, myth, story, whatever they want to throw in there gets revealed. Like I said, the mention of Snow White and Cinderella has me thinking, oh, they could just any fictional story they could throw in there that is based in kind of our time right now. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing something like, again, like Cinderella, Snow White. Those ones are given. I'm blanking on some of these. I don't know, I think the Red Riding could be cool. Maybe you could do a werewolf type of story, but I think they did that at the beginning with the first mini boss they fought. Anyway, tell me what kind of stories you think we want to see thrown in there. Any kind of stories you grew up on or liked as a kid, or maybe a Greek like mythology. I mean, they did mention like Medusa and things like that in a couple episodes here back, so it's kind of cool. So anyway, that's my thoughts on episode 9. See you next week for the possible finale, which we're gonna cry manly tears for, right? I mean, anyway, take care. Bye.